Dutch has got a lot of shit going on.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some stuff to talk about.
All right, hey guys, it's the SEO show. I'm Frank Schwartz. It's Byron Lee, and look at who Byron's sleeping with.
Oh,
That sounds bad, but you two are in the same fucking hotel room, and you're already drunk.
and we're already drunk.
Somebody's getting plowed, and I don't
I
mean
found
by
Byron
drinking.
face down in the gutter in the Gaslamp district, and I felt bad, so I kind of took him home like a lost puppy.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong at all with that. So, you guys, to let all the viewers know, Lane from Mad Rank and Byron are at, what are they calling it? Marketing Mayhem?
Yeah.
Or Marketers Mayhem? Or what? Mayhem. AV Zoos West Coast edition to their East Coast. And you're going to have, who is it? Flavor Flav.
Yeah. A couple other unknown rappers.
Dude, but they weren't, though. Back in the day.
No, they had one-hit wonders, but Flavor Flav's the only one I recognize.
Dude, DJ Easy Rock? No, DJ Easy Rock's dead. That's right. That's right. Yeah. His dude died. That's
They have
I was bummed, dude.
I don't know how they pulled that off.
I was bummed. Well, just to let you know, you can hire these guys for about $5,000. They'll even come to your house. I mean, come on. But no, you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a drunken debauchery. Is it open bar this time?
No.
Unfortunately, they gave us a couple free drinks. That's it.
Really?
Cool.
Sucks to be you.
I know. Oh well.
Well, listen, man. There's a lot going on. Did you hear? Did you hear about the massive trend for doorway pages?
Oh yeah, I heard. I did hear about that. Yeah. I thought that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I like doorway pages. Back when I was doing SEO like 8 years ago, they were just getting to where Google was starting to supposedly notice them, but then they were off the radar for several years. So now people are talking about them again, and it's pretty much the same thing. It's kind of a little different concept than doorway pages used to be, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're really going to take action or what.
Well, here's the thing. Sorry, yeah, you're going to see me because I brought my pot with me. I'm not smoking pot. I'm drinking from the pot. Yeah, there used to be doorway pages, gateway pages. They're virtually the same thing. So I had to go back and I wrote a little blurb and brought up some old school shit. I went back all the way to 2009.
Oh yeah.
And pulled up an article where Google said, "Hey, we're going to slap the shit out of you," and put on a video of our favorite man, Matt Cutts, and where he talked about what it is it's the they call doorway pages kind of like PBNs, pages that led to one spot. So if you had a bunch of pages all over your website and they all redirected to the main one post, then they were calling that a bad thing. Hold on, you there? Yeah, but they shit. Let me drop the link again. Our special guest Jake is having a hard time getting in. But yeah, so they're redoing things because they're seeing a lot of, and not specifically SERP shaker pages, but they're seeing a lot of traffic around the internet with these things, and as they're manually reviewing things, they go, hey, well, this is a doorway page, and I'm sure their little robots are seeing things that are looking a little different.
So it's a manual review from now? Is that what people are saying? Or was it like some sort of an update?
No, they're saying that it's going to be an update, and that they're just going to be more aware of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And disclaimer, guys, we are not Google. I do not have a special friend inside of Google yet. I don't have Jimmy Page's phone number or Tommy Rank or any of these people who are not at all associated with Google.
Yeah,
I pay attention to what's going on. I see that they always bring shit back, and my inside special knowledge is I read their blog.
Ooh, and their patent filings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that tells us what the fuck they're going to be doing. Just like a good salesman listens to sales videos, listens to Brian Tracy, reads great books, hones and practices his skills. That's what we do, where some people weak dick it out and go to the Warrior Forum and listen to somebody else who makes 23 cents on AdSense.
27 cent WSO. That's what I was trying to say.
Hey, man, I have to bring it up now. Okay.
What's up?
I'm getting Skype messages like crazy because of what just happened. Now, Lane, do you know Brian Burt?
No, not at all.
Okay, get to know that guy, man. He does pay per lead. Okay,
Yeah.
But he does it a little different than Mad Rank does.
Sure.
Mad Rank's more on talking with the clients, and Burt is set it and forget it.
Right.
He's into the passive income. If you can set it up, do it, and just walk away, he's happier than shit with that. As you can hear, I'm now getting messages. Okay. He'll be here when he gets here. And he was releasing a course today, actually an hour ago, for $1,000. And what ended up happening is, if you were paying attention to his webinar, he dropped all of his training for $2. $2, because he knows that people need this information and it's good shit. And his car is pretty fucking hot.
I do like the Chevelle. The Chevelle is one
that
of the.
Chevelle, dude. What was that? A 70?
69 or 70. I'm not sure. It was right around there. Yeah.
It was sick, and that's why there were some rumor mills about him not being able to afford things, and I went, well, if he sold that car, just the 454 engine, and it's worth quite a few $1,000.
Yeah, it's probably a $50,000 car.
Yeah, and it's restored, so it's not like it's got Bondo everywhere. It's actually a real car, and it's not the only one. No, so I was really I was paying attention to it and watching it, and I'm like, oh my god, we got to start the show. Okay, it's gonna be late. Fuck it. So listen, there's you got to get over and check out what they're doing over there. And what was the mobile, man? Like nobody saw this coming. Mobile ranking or mobile authorized, mobile ready websites are going to be the big craze now. So if you do client SEO, go check out their website, and if it's not mobile responsive and all this fun tech talk, sell them on it. Now I'm going to make a prediction that Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to see a large increase on how to do mobile websites cheap.
Yeah, people will be cashing in on that. I mean, I'm going to be cashing in on it by actually, selling some websites, hopefully, and people will probably make some WSOs on it. But just remember, what is it, 21st? Is that the official date?
Yeah, I think the 21st is the official date. But here's the funny part. They've been saying it for, what, 2 years? 3 years?
Yeah.
Who doesn't use this and see a website that you can't function? You can't, you do your little finger movement and it doesn't, get bigger. You can't move around. It's all the web really small. that's when you do that, the first thing you should do is not back out, but call them and say, look, I'm trying to use your website. I happen to have a team that can make this friendly for your users, and you won't lose customers. Because, guys, I don't know about you, but if I can't read their shit on here, I'm usually out to the next person, and I don't care to give them my money for the shit that they're selling.
Yeah, if I can't open the website, then it's the back button for sure.
And, let's see. Jason Johnson, hey, man, thanks for coming in. He bought at $2, and it's not a WSO. Yeah, that's what I know. That was fun. I was able to get in. I think Brian Burke broke the internet. Yeah, you know what? I know he broke some hearts today. And people know who you are. But I'm not going to bash anybody because my lawyer says I can't afford to do that anymore. Yeah. You know it's bad when your lawyer calls up and says, dude, you can't afford to pay me. Stop doing those things. And Docland, Doc Joe, man, thanks for being here. Todd says that was freaking cool. It was. Yeah, Scott Moody says pay some attention to what they do and watch carefully, or pay attention to what they say and watch what they do. Yeah, you guys have to. We try to hide from Google, which is kind of sad, because I've found that one of the best places to grow pot is at the police station.
I thought you were about to say the second page of Google.
No, you grow pot at the police station. The cops aren't looking at the cop shop for the weed. They're looking around the neighborhood and around the city. So grow it there. Don't grow it there. It's illegal. Drugs are bad. It's a metaphoric thing. It's don't grow pot. Don't grow pot. I'm saying it. But if you're in front and you're open and you're honest and you're putting shit out there, Google isn't trying to fuck you over. So be real upfront with what you're doing, and Google's not going to see you. Is what I'm kind of trying to say. I mean, you don't have to kind of hide from them. Just do it. You know, they say put a video on your page, and you'll have more views. Well, that's kind of true. Don't put up crappy content. Well, that's bullshit. Don't scrape. Well, I scrape. Don't spin. I spin. You know, if I'm putting up crap sites I don't care about that I'm trying to burn some AdSense for, of course.
Yeah,
Well, use your real name when you register a domain. Why? Google knows that you buy more than one. Hell, how many websites does Google own? You know? Hey, there's Jake Martin.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. We're just talking about hiding from Google.
Oh, perfect.
Jake, Lane, and that other guy there, the hippie-looking fucker.
Oh, dude.
Down in San Diego.
No, let's buy him a haircut.
Oh, I won't do that, man. I had long hair. Just let him. You had fucking long hair, dude.
I used to, not so much anymore, man.
Well, that's what happens when you get to be 23 or 4 or whatever you think.
Oh, come on. Don't let the baby face fool you.
No, but Google is really great about telling us months in advance what they're going to do. Well, they've already started doing it. They tell us after the shit's already being done. That's the great part. SimEasy, when they started doing all these reading the patents and the trademarks and all this other bullshit legal stuff, I thought that was really neat because they're not announcing that in the news. But they're buying up these things, throwing their names on it, and as soon as they do, read what it is, and you're going to know way in advance because they still have to test this shit. So if you're aware of what they're going to be testing, I think you're going to be ahead of the game, which is smarter than anything else. YouTube. People are like, oh my God, you can't register. You got to make phones. You got to do this number, and you got to and go over here and bullshit. Have them verified with your phone. I have one account now that has 50 channels for YouTube on it. If they take away one of those little channels, I still have 49 in the same fucking account. They're just taking that channel away. They're not ruining my birthday. I mean, it took me forever to figure out that, you know, they're going to pull the channel. But if I only have it with one Gmail and one channel, then when they pull that channel, my Christmas is over with. I got to start from scratch all over again.
Sure, and to your point, you know, Google has a lot of their patents available. I mean, you can go on the Google patent search, and to your point, you know, some of these technologies that they've patented, it's taken them a while to develop. Whether it's lack of implementation or more so the lack of computing power. A lot of these more advanced algorithms are incredibly complex, and if you can imagine, you know, when you have trillions of pages available on the web, billions are in Google's index, you know, it's going to take them a while to be able to actually crunch all that data. There's no way around it that sometimes with these advanced algorithms, it's going to take them a little bit longer because it takes more computing power.
There's a very, very, very important birthday that's happening today for all of us. We all know the person having a birthday, and I just want to say a massive shout out, happy 30th birthday to .com.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, Byron, you thought you were going to be a drunken little smartass and say, oh, he's going to drop a name. No, it's .com, pal.
Like the top level domain?
I'm not trying to get keyword stuffed in here quite yet.
Well, I was doing that TLD top level domain, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just thought it was funny. Is like 30 years ago. What the fuck? I was there when the internet started, which I wasn't, but you know, I was close.
Wait, you were there when Al Gore?
Yeah, I was there when Al Gore. I was alive when Al Gore announced he created the internet.
So was I.
I remember when he did that, and everybody went, "Who? What?" All right. Well, listen. The main part of the show, now that we have Jake on, is Jake. Do you want to tell us why the hell anybody should listen to you and how you are known?
Yeah, I guess that's a good grounding point. So my name's Jake Martin. I've been doing SEO informally, since GeoCities days. So my original parlay into web development is originally based on this awesome game called Fallout. It was incredibly bloody. You know, it was the thing that made little kids really tick. You know, back in the day, it was very avant-garde in the sense that it was just massively bloody. So I loved it. I played it all the time. And I ended up creating a GeoCities fan site around it. Rather quickly, I realized that, you know, this is back in the day when you still had the little GIF counter that, you know, progressed every time that a visitor came and saw the website, and I became obsessed with seeing that number increase. So, you know, that was back in the days when WebRing still worked, and, you know, it was a different landscape. I don't even think Google was officially around at that point even. I was still in the Lycos and AOL days. And so from there, you know, I got into web development, front-end web development, building sites. It wasn't WordPress even back then, but then when WordPress did come around, I jumped on that bandwagon very early, back in the 1.x days. And so ultimately, you know, I started realizing that the cycle of getting a web client, building their site, and then having to find another web client, building their site just to keep afloat, man, that's a tough racket. And, you know, especially back in the mid-2000s, the internet wasn't pervasive. Business owners were like, yeah, that's a nice little trick. I don't really see how it's going to affect my business. So I kind of realized that, you know, building the site just by itself wasn't nearly as important as actually driving eyeballs to it. You know, once we get it out there, it's not the field of dreams. You just don't build it and then people come. You actually have to promote it. And so I got into local search about 2007, 2008. I was the lead SEO guy for a small startup up here in Washington. Kind of our claim to fame is in the first year we had 150 clients that we took on board. We had a 93% success rate in getting people to the first page within 90 days, or they got their money back. Generally speaking, we were hitting that target within 2 weeks. Again, this is a different landscape. Caffeine just came out. It was relatively easy. Also, you know, the amount of competition that was out there was negligible compared to where we're at today. You know, and so going through this exercise of ranking small web properties for local search terms became kind of easy. I mean, for lack of better terms, it's easy. And I don't, not saying that I don't like easy, but I appreciate a good challenge. And so with that, I branched out and started going after national terms. Kind of my big claim to fame win was I was working for a local skincare company. You know, they're trying to rank for anti-aging skincare. We're going up against Murad, Mac, Liz Claiborne. I mean, very established brands who spend millions of dollars on branding and marketing every year. And within about 3, maybe 4 months of working with the client, we actually hit first page. Page 1, rank 2 for anti-aging skincare. So we were eating the big boys' lunch, and it was really cool. Man, I always tell people, it's like, as an SEO, you're pretty much a gambling junkie. When you're up, and when you're down, you're down. And so we were up, and it was great. Kind of the testament to there was that social signals were just coming into effect. And we ran a massive viral campaign in which, within an 11-day period, we got 29,000 Facebook likes. We got 29,000 full opt-ins, name, phone number, email, mailing address. And so we built a rabid fan base with that. You know, keep on going for bigger and better results. That kind of took the turn to actually start working with Fortune 100 clients. So in the past, I've worked with Chevron, Hallmark, Microsoft, Procter & Gamble, the IAG Group, which is Ask.com, Urban Spoon. I've worked with Ava, which is the free legal advice website, the lawyer directory that everyone hears and knows about these days. I was their sole SEO manager, and you know, we had gangbuster results with them. We were going head-to-head with FindLaw, and the strategies and tactics that we put in place moved us from, you know, being a number 4 or 5 visibility contender to number 1 or number 2. And so in the last 18 months now, I've been the SEO architect for Intuit QuickBooks. SEO architect is kind of a nebulous term, but I think the best way of describing it is this combination of a front-end web developer with a very good understanding of the technical backbone. And so when I say the technical backbone, we're talking about sites that get millions of visitors. And you know, it's easy to create a site that can handle a couple hundred users online at the same time, concurrent users. When you're talking about 50,000, 90,000, 100,000, 200,000 concurrent users, it's a completely different ballgame. You're not just going to have one server running in the back end. You're going to have dozens, if not more, servers to actually support the overall architecture. So that includes, you know, your front-end load balancers. You got dedicated MySQL databases or database servers in the back end. You got dedicated caching servers. You have dedicated app servers. And so it's a lot more complicated than your traditional setups, albeit I'm not a true-blown DNS ops guy, but, you know, I got deep in the woods with that. And, you know, there's a story to be told in the sense that a lot of people will focus on, hey, I'm going to build the site, I'm going to get it up, and I'm just going to throw a barrage of backlinks at it. Got to get my links, got to get my links, got to get my links. And that's all fine and dandy. I'm not saying otherwise. That's great. Go ahead and do your thing there. However, I firmly believe I'd rather go after the quote-unquote low-hanging fruit. And by that, I interpret that as Google's already exposed that speed is a ranking factor. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, all the big boys have already proven with very intensive case studies that for every extra 100 milliseconds that your site's loading, you're going to start losing conversion. So, you know, there's a lot of people who have always been preaching, do more with what you already have. You know, if you're getting 1,000 visitors a month and you're converting at 3%, if you convert at 6%, it's the equivalent of having 2,000 visitors a month. So with that mantra, you know, not only is it a ranking factor, but it's also a usability factor. You know, so it's making sure that your site loads fast, because people are a product of a microwave generation now. We want things now. We don't have time to wait. We want it now. So if your site's loading slower than, say, 3.5 seconds, you rest assured that people are going to be leaving your site before they even check it out.
Well, I know that you and I were talking, and we said we wanted to do something kind of cool, and we created the Pro Pinger, and the main thing that we wanted to do was do no SEO. Give something out to the community, see if they like it, see if they're going to use it, and make it as basically as fucking quick as we can, and just see what happened with where it was on the ranking. And I checked like 2 or 3 days ago, you and I were talking, and we were page 2 for, what was it, free RSS Pinger or RSS Pinger, I think.
Yep.
It's something very simple that had millions of searches, and for a site that's less than 45 days old, you know, to be on page 2 with 0 use. We put almost 40,000 sites through it. You know, I think 500,000 pings have gone out and all this crazy ass shit. But it's just been the speed of the site. I mean, if you do the insight test, it's fucking ridiculous. So I know that the speed's really important, because I keep getting fucking Google Webmaster telling me my one site is super slow, and there's no ranking to it, even though I've got visitors. If I just did a couple of things. Now, does like Cloudflare or a CDN, is that more of a Band-Aid? Or can you implement it not only for anti-hacking, but a cache?
Yeah, absolutely. In my architect, I generally try to leverage Cloudflare, to your point of security at the first and foremost. I mean, it's rather sickening as you know, a novice, or I guess a passionate webmaster. I set up my own servers, whether it's on DigitalOcean, AWS, Linode, what have you. You know, it's quite concerning when you spin up a new VPS, and within, you know, 2 days, you're going to start seeing hack attempts from Russia, China. They're going to be port knocking you. They're going to be trying to log into your root access. And so by those means, having Cloudflare in front can generally help protect your DNS backend. So Cloudflare masks your server's IP address. So it makes it a little bit more challenging for hackers to directly log in, say, via SSH or Telnet into your server. And so Cloudflare does generally help with the overall speed. That being said, you know, if you're going in and you're doing a good job with your optimizations, what I actually see is, you know, I'll take my example setup that I've been running here lately, which is Nginx with HHVM. And so HHVM is Facebook's tool that they developed to make PHP faster. It converts PHP into bytecode, and you know, it's 6 to 8 times faster, generally speaking, than traditional Apache PHP. And so, you know, with a very basic site, you know, it's not too graphically intensive. It's well conceived. It's not just a hodgepodge of crap, for lack of better terms. You know, I'll generally see a speed with Pingdom of roughly 600 to 700 milliseconds total load time. Now, I've seen a lot of sites that you know, their time to first byte is right around that 450, 500 milliseconds. So we're having the whole page load by the time that most people's server is just responding with the first byte of information back to the user. And so, unfortunately, when you're already operating that fast, when you're adding in another layer of DNS routing, which is Cloudflare, and we're using the free version of it, so we're not on the pro, we're on the free, so obviously we're not going to be getting the priority support, the priority resources here, it does add a little bit of time. Again, the trade-off there for me is, because I'm running generally VPSs, I don't want to expose my footprints to hackers. I try to avoid that as much as I can. So yes, Cloudflare will generally help. Say if you're using a shared host like Bluehost or A2 or HostGator, what have you. Generally, I see a nice performance uptick by using just the free Cloudflare.
You had mentioned a few months back. Well, Byron and I we went to Affiliate Summit West and met Bluehost guy or not Bluehost, HostGator guys and the WP Engine guys, and I came back and I was like, I'm going to try this WP Engine for the SEO show, and you had even said, yeah, it's a dedicated platform. You're not going to be all effed up, and I heard a lot of negative things like you can't use certain plugins. You can't. I'll tell you what. I've only had one plugin so far be taken away from me, and that was the multiple login. But their security is so fucking nuts that I don't need the multiple login because they're going, hey, wait, the IPs are wrong. Hell, the area is wrong. So you're not getting into your own site. And they do the secured file uploads and all this other shit. Why would you put a client on WP Engine instead of like Bluehost or some basic shared hosting plan that's a little bit cheaper?
Sure. So taking the security and the ease of use features, I mean, one of the biggest things that I think that is beneficial with services like WP Engine is that they have the anti-hack guarantee. So if you do get hacked, they'll go in and fix things for you, which is great. I mean, you can't argue with that. But to your point, I believe that WP Engine is using AWS, Amazon Web Services, as a backend. They're generally going to be faster because on a shared host, you might have anywhere from 100 to 500 people all sharing the same resources. So really, there's when you have 100 accounts or 500 accounts, I don't know about you guys, but I generally put 5 to 10 websites on one host. That in turn, you could have 5,000 websites all sharing the same resource pool of that shared host. So that's where your $10 is going per month, is because, hey, you're going to be sharing it with a ton of other websites, and therefore you're not going to be having a dedicated resource pool. So as you start getting into more expensive hosting, generally speaking, you're going to end up having a greater resource pool and less people sharing said resource pool.
Now the HHVM, does that run WordPress and shit?
Yeah, WordPress is 100% compatible with HHVM now. That's vanilla WordPress, so if you have any custom core hacks that you're using, you need to be aware of the nuances that HHVM, how they compiles. Mainly that's in with your defines, but it also has a couple functions like execute that don't work. So while Facebook's team has done an excellent job converting most of the functions over into the hack HHVM interpreter, a couple of them aren't supported.
So HHVM replaces Apache.
No, HHVM, well, okay, yeah, so HHVM can be ran as a standalone server. So it can be ran in lieu of Apache or Nginx or Lightspeed. However, I think it's best if you set it up so that HHVM is a service, as PHP is a service, or PHP FPM is a service, and then you load balance or have Nginx be the front-end web server to that.
Is there like a go-to resource that an idiot can go to and read and not get like stupefied and feel even worse than WordPress.com?
In terms of how to install it?
Yeah, how to use it, or just to find out more shit about it. Because I mean, I'm amazed at Chrome. Chrome has been really funky that if a website's not loading fast enough, it just throws up the fucking error message and just goes, hey, they're taking too long. We're out. They're not even loading the page. They're not even letting it spin out, and keep going to where you can do something. It just says, they're taking too long. They're not answering the phone. We're done. So I think Google's even saying, hey, shit, if it's taking too long for the website, it's they're going to bounce you to another place. We've got a local chiropractor who, you talked about GeoCities. It almost reminds me of it. It's just all these pictures of the office, and it's like, damn, dude, did you really have to upload it by 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels? This damn thing's taking forever, and it's on
Sure.
his shared host, so it's like, fuck, rendering.
Yeah, so hhvm.org has a lot of it. Excuse me, it has a lot of information. It's more catered to developers, and there's no doubt about it. You want to play with the big boy tools, you're going to have to figure out how to actually use them. That means getting your hands dirty. You're going to be potentially going outside your typical comfort area of learning, which is, hey, if you're really comfortable with cPanel and you don't know how to SSH into a server, HHVM probably is not for you. It is fully functional. It is in production, but it is a little bit more of a learning curve, and you need to be aware that your app, your environment might not respond as anticipated to HHVM.
Cool. All right. Fuck HHVM. The funny part you had mentioned earlier about social signals. Why is everybody saying that Google doesn't use social signals? When
Well, I mean,
they tell
Google,
you,
Google themselves will come out and say that they don't use social signals as a ranking factor, and then sometimes they'll be like, oh, but we do, but we don't, but we do. And so, there was a period of time when Google was digesting the Twitter fire hose, and that's when we really saw Twitter going out to exploit. We saw SEOs exploiting Twitter. You had your auto tweet bots. They're still out there, but I think that the main thing to realize is that all the social networks do create backlinks. They do create citations, whether they're follow or no follow. That's subject to debate. Again, people say no follow doesn't work, and there's other people say, well, look, I only have built no follow links, and I'm ranking now. So, I'm not going to go into debating that right now. I don't have a strong opinion either way. But from what I've seen, social signals do work. They absolutely do work. And you think about what Google's goal here is. Google's end game is their job is to end your search. So when you're searching on Google, Google's main primary factor that they're trying to solve for is giving you the right information at the right time. And so social signals is another way that people can, quote unquote, vote on what they see or perceive as being popular or relevant. The average person doesn't have a website. The average person does have a Facebook. So by those means, it definitely does apply. And then when you look at more of the usability metrics, where in turn you're going to see referral traffic, you're going to see time on page, you're going to look at bounce rate, exit rate, those type of factors are where I think the more of the impetus is for social signals.
See that, and I'm working to get a friend that I've been lucky enough to know for a few years, and she is like the social chick from hell. She knows a bunch of just setting it up properly, getting customers to interact with the business and things like that. I'm going to bring her on for her thoughts, but I'll tell you this. Google tells you they want the interaction, they want reviews, they want, they're going to feed you the information people are clicking on, and there are some Facebook pages that show up beyond or before Yelp. Now how can a Yelp have a 5-star rating with 160 reviews, but the Facebook page is ranking above it? And to me, Yelp is a directory, but I think it's also a social thing, because they get in there and people talk on Yelp to each other. There's debates. Reddit is, now considered a news resource.
Sure.
But it's also used as a social thing. People talk to each other, and they feed to the Twitter. There are people who only have social accounts, and they don't have that website, or they have a website and it's a resume. I mean, and I know that, Byron works with locals, and and one of the things that you tell everybody is get a Facebook page. You got to interact. People won't interact on your website unless there's a fucking chat box or a blog. But a pizza joint doesn't have that interaction. You know, nobody wants to talk to the pizza guy.
Or your plumber.
Yeah, or a plumber or anything like that, you know. But they will leave a review or they will leave something, and the best place to do it is leave it on Facebook because they're there. You know, they're not leaving to go somewhere else, and that's, you know, the great devil that Facebook is. I don't know. They're saying no follows, and then you said you weren't going to talk about it, but no follows and follows. It's a fucking robot, and I think that they follow the links. They might not, you know, keep track of all the no follow links, but they follow those fucking links to see where they lead. You know?
Absolutely, and to that point,
give them.
You're only able to request to Google or to the bot to honor your no follow request. It's up to the bot to actually honor that. So even though you can say, hey, you know, and it even says that now in WordPress when you go down into the readability or visibility settings, it says we're going to discourage the search engines. It doesn't block them. Now, if you're really trying to block, if you're truly trying to block bots, you do that at the server level. You don't do that at the application level, being WordPress. You actually set up in your server configuration user agent sniffing, and then if the user agent matches, you don't return a page. They don't see anything. It doesn't exist to them.
Yes, Spider Spanker I thought was funny because it has a setting to send the shit right back to them and say, you know, you're feeding them. Whoever they are, you're just shooting them right back at themselves. And I was always like, oh, that's funny, man. That's kind of evil shit, you know. Now they're going to go look for themselves, you know, and just spin in a circle. But I figured, you know, the downfall with the Spider Spankers, they're already there. You know, they're at your site, and then you're pushing them away. You know, like you said, if you can keep them away from the server, it's that much better. And here nor there, but I'm absolutely loving all the fucking questions coming in that and I'm being a smartass because there are none. Got a bunch of people. What's going on, Byron? How many drinks are we in since the show started?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just caffeinating.
Why the hell are you drinking a Monster and what is that? Whiskey or bourbon?
Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why'd you guys get the cheap shit?
That isn't the cheap shit. That's from my family's hometown.
It's good.
What? Kansas City?
No. A town called Dunmore, east of Galway Bay.
I've never heard of that in Kansas. I've driven Kansas a lot.
I'm not Kansas.
I mean, Spider Spanker, I use that all the time. It's pretty cool tool for PBNs or even just on your own site if you don't your money side if you don't want people to kind of see your links. I've used that for a long time just because I started using it locally. There's a lot of local SEOs in my area who they try to reverse engineer everything, and there is everywhere, but they try to reverse engineer the links, and so I put that on there, and then I've been at some local meetups, and they're like, well, how'd you get up there? You only have like 4 links visible on, you know, Ahrefs. I'm like, well, that's because, you know, I just kind of trail off and just don't mention it. I'm like, well, I'm that awesome, you know. So.
I'm that awesome. Because I'm doing some shit you're not doing, bitch.
I can see it, so.
Now, PBNs are dying. SEO is dying. Google hates websites. Backlinks are history. Social sucks. Doorway, gateway pages are now going to get you thrown in prison. What do we do now? I mean, as a server guy, as the SEO guy at Intuit, and by the way, stop sending me emails. I'm not buying your tax update, okay? It's just not happening. That's why I have an accountant. We, as the little guy who have these local sites, what are we doing or not doing that you guys are doing on, the grand scale of SEO that you're able to kill us and we can't compete with you?
Well, why would I want to answer that one?
So that we know what the fuck's going on.
I'll speak at a larger scale here. You look at any of the big guys, the Fortune 500 companies, they're all investing into quality content. I've been on the black hat, the gray hat, the white hat. I've done it all. Now I'm entirely white hat. You could sit me down with a Google web spam engineer, and I could explain our strategy to a T, and they're going to say, that's beautiful, that's great, we love it, we're going to reward that. So I think that, bear that in mind, that the constructs that I work with, we're a very well-known public, well, debatably respectable. We hope that you guys respect us. We're really trying hard. So we play by a different set of rules. I think that by and large, looking at any major website versus a local site, the advantages that the local smaller site has is that they're going to be quicker. They're going to be more responsive to change. You don't have to go through the same change process or iterative process where you have to have buy-in from multiple teams or stakeholders. So I think that's where little sites can be more scrappy and they can get to market quicker. That's your guys' advantage, is you're not this big Goliath that takes months to make these iterative changes, like, right? So that's where I would be looking at if I was a local guy, is be fast. You set up your news alerts via various tracking forms, whether it's through RSS or if you have your own proprietary scraper or whatever tool you're using. You got to be Johnny on the spot. When you get some industry news that's breaking, you need to be covering it. That's how you get traffic. That's how you position yourself above the big guys. Is you got to be fast and quote unquote a first mover.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're gonna be shutting this down for the day. It's been an hour, and I've got to go over and check out a bunch of shit that's going on around Google making some new announcements. I don't know how new they are. Like I said, the doorway gateway page update is an update, guys. It's just an update. It's not a new rule. 2009 is and that was as far as I went back. I didn't go back to the beginning of the Google time, but they want you to give, and I love this, is they want you to give them content, but people are trying to figure out how not to give them content. I'm seeing websites that are ranking, and they literally, their updates are like Twitter feeds. Just a constant barrage of less than 400 words, and it's just multiple times a day from multiple different people. And they're in the news results, they're in the fucking top 3 spots, and it's not that it's earth-shattering updates. It's just like you said, they're in the news, they're on that feed, and then suddenly they become the source, and it's all from the AP wire. That's all they're doing. They're just rehashing news that somebody else spent months building. So go out there and steal something for yourself today. I want to thank you guys, you fools over at San Diego. I appreciate you guys at least staying awake.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here. We've been up since 5 doing SEO and phone calls and all kinds of stuff.
Hey, I'm getting on with JC in a bit. I hope. Him and I have been like phone buddies from hell. You guys have fun. Stay safe, man. Say hi to Zimmerman and EBR and.
Yeah, we're gonna hook up with those guys tonight and hang out and kind of see what they're doing. So.
Take some pictures, post them up, brother.
All right, we'll do.
I'll steal them and put them on the SEO.com, and we'll see what the fuck's happening.
Cool. That sounds good.
All right. Jake Martin, where can people go to follow you?
So the best spot right now is twitter.com/JMWebDev. That's my primary place where I'm playing right now. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn profile is on my Twitter page. So definitely, if you want to connect, I get a lot of opportunities that come my way via LinkedIn, via recruiters, and I'm always saying, hey, I'm not looking for a new gig right now, but I know some people. So if you want to connect with me, if you're looking to get more into the enterprise or the corporate world, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn and reach out. I get a lot of offers, and I'd love to be able to send them your way.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for coming on, man. Listen, guys,
Thanks for having me.
this is the SEO show, bitches. You know how we do this. There's not a whole lot of thanks for stopping. Thanks for all the questions. I know half of you are listening. Check us out. We're going to be moving some of the show over to iTunes podcast. Byron and I have to sit down and figure out what we're doing there. Check out simeasy.com, theseoshow.com. Hit us up on Facebook. Twitter's at SEO at SEO show, and other than that, I'm out. I gotta go kick the wife out. She's gonna go look at butterflies today. So
Butterfly.
yeah, fucking butterflies. I'll talk to you guys later.